Hi everybody, some of you have asked for some more help with isolines. So I wanted to go through the plotting process with you here. So this is today's map from the Plymouth State website. If you're having trouble getting that website, you need to click the title alternative plot website. I know I put a second link in there, so that's kind of confusing. So just be aware of that. So if you click the title, it will take you to the Plymouth State Weather Center, and you have to make sure that you put in station pressure and the area that you want to plot. So when we plot isobars, okay, so what we are doing here is we're plotting isobars, which are lines of constant pressure. So what we want to do is we want to find where the lowest pressure is and the highest pressure is, and kind of how it's changing in between. Okay. So right off, when we look at this map, the first thing that you want to do is just take a look at the numbers. The nice thing about this map is it's not plotted in code, so you can see the full value. You don't have to worry about those last 3 digits and all of that. So this one's a little bit easier to use. So right away, you should notice that in the Northeast United States, in New York and north, that pressures are below 1,000, right? So we definitely have low pressure up in this area, okay? If we look down, or if we go maybe to like the Midwest, into the Dakotas, we have pressures of 1020 or higher, right? So we have high pressure in the Midwest, and kind of some in-between pressures on the West Coast and the Southeast, okay? So one of the easiest things, I think, because after you look at those pressures, okay, and you look at the numbers, so now you can tell yourself, okay, I know there's going to be low pressure somewhere in the Northeast. I know there's going to be high pressure kind of in the middle part of the country and in Canada. And so you kind of have this range now, right? So you know pressures are generally a little bit below 1,000 and above 1020. So what I like to do is start with something that's easy for me to tell what pressures are above that number and what are below. So I think in this case, and my preference is always to start with low pressure. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to do these in blue just so they show up a little bit better. Okay. I'm going to start with the 1,000 millibar line. Okay. So basically what I need to do is I need to put everything that is less than 1,000 on one side of my line and everything that's greater than 1,000 on the other side. Okay. Now just keep in mind, I'm trying to do this with my touch pad, so I might be a little bit wobblier than you are. So I'm using Drawboard PDF. There is the online tool that I posted that Comet NetEd UCAR has out there that you can also use. This Drawboard tool, though, is just really easy on my Surface. I thought I could use my finger on it, but I probably don't have that setting. I think I forgot my pen today. Okay, so this would be 1,000 millibars, and we could label that, especially if you're working in pencil, it's much easier. If you're trying to use your computer mouse, a little bit more difficult. So I'm not going to label all of my isolines like you would be. Okay. But the first thing that we should notice is that everything on this side of the line is lower, right, than everything outside of that, right? Everything over here is higher than 1,000 millibars. Everything over here is lower than 1,000 millibars. The most important thing is we hold that relationship throughout our isolines, okay? So the next one that I'm going to do is 1,004. Okay. And so I've got this 1,005 here, which is causing me trouble. So I have to go kind of close, which brings me to an important point, is that these iso lines can never cross each other, okay? Okay, so they can go close to each other like this, but they can never touch because each line represents one number. So if they touch, you're saying that that location could be both numbers at the same time, which is impossible, right? So this next line was 1004 that I just drew. And you'll notice we've got, one number here that I probably should have gone a little closer to. But for the most part, right? And again, it's the general trend that's important. We have numbers that are lower than 1,000 and numbers that are higher than 1,000 I kept on the outside of this line. Okay. And then I just keep going up by 4 millibars. So I go to 1,008. And around your low pressure system, remember low pressure systems have higher pressure gradient forces. So the isolines tend to be packed closer together. They will spread out as you go towards your high. Okay. Again, I'm wiggling a lot because I'm using my mouse and my finger. When you do them, you can try to smooth them out a little bit. Okay. So 1,000, 1,004, 1,008. Then we go to 1,012. Okay. And so if the city is at 1,012, we want to go right through it. And again, I'm just kind of estimating here because these numbers are just kind of in space. Right. So there's 1,012. And then we go up to 1016 or 1,016. And so as I go this direction, right, need everything lower than, right? It's got to stay on that side of the line. Everything higher has got to come over here. 1016, we're getting close to that over here. We've got some lower numbers. Okay, so we've come into a place now where things are getting a little bit trickier. Okay, so I might stop there and then come back down here and let's see, we've got 1016 going this way. We've got some high numbers. 1016, 1016, 1016. You go back into low numbers over there. Okay. And let's see, 10, 16, 10, 12. Looks like all of this is above 10, 12. So we're okay. So this is one high pressure system here. Okay. And then remember we had the one over here in the Midwest. So I'm going to come back to that. So once you get to a place where it's like, oh, I don't really know what's going on, stop and skip over to your high pressure system. Okay. So the highest pressure that we have here is up in this general region. So I have high pressure here. So we can definitely do a 1020 line, and everything higher than 1020, that 1018 is kind of a problem. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to ignore it. Oh, there's a few more here. I guess, let's see. Let me go back and get my eraser. I can do this a little better. Oh, let's see. Maybe not. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'll go back to my pen tool. Oh, I erased the wrong thing. Let's see. Let me try this again. Oh, it does not like that. Okay, so I'm not going to erase it, but just so you know, I probably should make this a little bit more like a blob to get these two 1020s. So I'm going to do this. On your map, make sure you erase that section if you did that wrong. And now I can come down to finish my 1016 line because it makes a lot more sense to me because I have a high here and a high up here. So if I do my 1016 line and make sure everything above 1016 is coming in this way, okay? And again, I'm wiggling a lot here, okay? But there's my 1016, and then everything in between here should be somewhere between our 1016 and our last one, which was here, which was 1012, okay? So as long as all of this is between 1016 and 1012, and you might have to make a couple little adjustments, you're good, okay? So that's the plotting. This Plymouth State website will be a lot easier to plot, but you may, when you go to look for the fronts, you may want to refer to the website that I give you in the lab, okay? So I hope this helps a little bit. It gives you an example. It doesn't hurt to do more of these examples. I've posted a few other ones that you can do because the goal this week is just to learn how we get to these maps, you know, the process that is involved. Okay. All right, thanks.